Howdy gang, Chris Angel coming at you with another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. That's right. And interesting side note. So first of all, we're going to talk about marketing like for most people is like a relationship built on small talk. And I want to unpack that for you. And today I'm going to actually use some notes. I want to show you that it's okay to use notes as memory joggers for where you want to go. So watch me use notes to remember where I want to go in this conversation. I've carefully planned out what I want to say to you. I actually usually don't do that. I actually usually am generating what I want to say to you from just staring at you through my phone, right? But today I'm trying something new and I'm showing you that I'm trying something new. I'm telling it to you so that you can see that you too can try something new with people who watch your stuff, okay? So here's what I want to dive into. I'm going to start with some principles, okay? Principles of what's happening here. So actually, I'm going to start with problems and possibilities. So the first problem that happens is that, well, listen, let me set the stage first of all. Have you ever had a relationship built on small talk? Like, it sucks. I don't do small talk well. I prefer to go straight to what matters most. Small talk relationships just are exhausting to me. And you know that there isn't any substance in that relationship. So if what you want is substance in your relationships, if what you want is substance with your clients, if what you want are clients coming through to work with you who come into working with you with substance, right? In other words, like you can have deep conversations quickly because they consumed all your content that had substance, then this is what you want to know. This particular Facebook Live, okay? So here's the problem. The problem is that you don't actually know who you're talking to. That's the problem. You can't have a meaningful conversation if you don't know what you have in common. If you don't know who you're talking to, then how could you possibly find common ground? And so what you're left with, what most people are left with in their social posting is like as generic or random a post as possible so that hopefully somebody out there in the world can like it. But that actually backfires. It doesn't work like that. Okay? Here's the second problem. You don't know what common interest to build on, or what common problem, even better. You don't know what common problem to build on. Actually, I'm jumping ahead already because I want to get into the possibilities. Here's the third problem. When you don't know what common problem to build on with a specific person, it leaves you with nothing but small talk. And the fourth problem is, if your entire posting strategy or your content strategy isn't built in substance, then you have no influence. That's a problem, gang. Most of you in business, because that's who I'm speaking to, right? You need influence. If you go look at John Maxwell, like everything rises and falls on influence or leadership. Leadership is the ability to influence. So you need to have people relate to your content like it matters. And most marketing doesn't matter because it's not built on any sort of common problem and it's a bunch of small talk. So let's look at, those are the problems. Let's look at the possibilities of each of those, okay? What's possible, what could be possible for you in your marketing and your business is that you could get clear about who you really want to help. And in the space of that, here's the second possibility. So getting clear is a possibility. For some of you, getting clear feels like a mountain to climb, but it is possible for you to get clear, okay? The second possibility then is once you're clear on who, it clarifies what you can make meaningful connections around, right? Like if you know who you want to speak to, for example, I want to speak to business people who are people-oriented, who don't understand the algorithms, who want to have meaningful, authentic connections, right? But that up to this point have been primarily word of mouth and referral based, but want to expand and scale their impact. This is who I'm speaking to. And when I get clear about that, I can actually start to hone in on the problems, right? The problems for the people I speak to is they're left with a huge to-do list of marketing and they don't know where to start. It's actually quite confusing for them about, do I post on LinkedIn? Am I supposed to post to Facebook? Do I do something different for YouTube and Instagram? Like, how do I go into create all these like the list of questions is endless for the people I'm trying to help. So I'm clear about the problems, right? In fact, they've been my problems. I just figured out how to solve them. So the second possibility here, right, is that you could clarify, right, what you can make a meaningful connection on or around. The third possibility then is once you do that, it leaves you with content that actually can change lives. How many of you would like to actually have marketing that doesn't just sell a product, but actually changes lives? That's part of I think the reinvention that's happening right now in marketing is that historically marketing was, if we come out of the industrial age, like marketing was a selling tactic. It was let's advertise and then people will buy stuff. But marketing has shifted over time about being about relationships now. We want to consume content from you before we feel like we can trust you. That's the purpose of marketing. And if we trust you, then we start to open our minds to the idea of working with you. But if we don't trust you, then I don't want to work with you. So the third possibility is it leaves you with posts and content that actually change lives. Again, for those of you joining, right, like I'm showing you that I'm actually using notes as I've outlined here because I want to be very specific in what I'm sharing with you. So isn't that good news? Like you guys can use notes too, and it doesn't come off weird. So here's the fourth possibility, right? If you have content, so the third possibility is you can create content and posts that actually change lives. And if you change lives, then the fourth possibility is that you could actually be a person of influence. People would actually look at you as a leader, the leader that you are, the leader you know yourself to be. And you would be, instead of a wandering generality, you would be a meaningful specific. Have you heard that? Right? Like that when people relate to your post, they're like, oh, I want to watch this guy's post or this gal's post because when they post, it means something to me. That's a meaningful specific. Most people are wandering generalities. They're doing all sorts of really random posts, wandering around, hoping that somebody finds them. Okay, but it's not relevant. So those are the problems and the possibilities. Let me move now into the principles that are sort of driving this ship in the background. Okay, the first principle is that if your content doesn't help me, I'm not interested. You're clear, right? You know that we as individuals are interested in ourselves for the most part, right? We're just interested in ourselves. So as I'm scrolling Facebook, if I find your content and it doesn't speak to my problems or my concerns, I'm not interested. So this is why it's important to hone in on who you're speaking to and what their problems are so that you can help them. Because if it doesn't, they're not interested. Here's the second principle. We all deeply want to connect and be seen. There may not be a better feeling emotionally than somebody who gets who you are. When somebody acknowledges you for your hardships, your courage, your talents, we feel seen. And it is very uncommon in this day and age for people to see other people, right? Most of us don't listen. Let's just say that. Most people don't listen. Most people don't feel heard. And so when you are able to hone in on who you want to speak to and what their problems are, and you're able to, in detail, through your content, speak to that, even though they've never met you, they feel a deep connection to you because they're like, oh my God, like you're reading my mind right now. Oh my, how do you know this about me? This is what creates connection, right? Okay, here's the third principle. We trust those that we feel and understand us. When we feel somebody understands us, we trust them. One of the biggest assets in this day and age is trust. I said this yesterday in yesterday's episode, but 98% of people don't trust what they read online. They don't trust information online. So when you cultivate that trust, you have something that is rare in this day and age, right? So the third principle is that we trust those that we feel understand us. Okay. But do you see, like the problem is if you don't know who you're speaking to and what the problem is, then they won't feel understood by you because you'll be talking about random stuff in your content. Okay, here's the fourth principle. Once we've created trust, we buy from those we trust. We buy from those we trust. Okay. So you can see at the heart of your content strategy needs to be some strategy for how you're going to cultivate that trust, because without that trust, they don't buy. Okay? Those are the 4 principles. Now, let me walk you into the strategy here. And then we're going to wrap up here with giving you some action items. Okay. So the strategy then, in terms of how do we take this out to the world, the first thing I want you to look for is what matters to you. If you think about, so I haven't really watched sports. Once a year I watch the Masters, and then beyond that I don't really watch sports anymore. I used to watch sports. I played 3 sports in high school, and I loved athletics growing up, but I don't really watch sports anymore. And I remember going out to dinner one time with my wife and I. We went on this double date, and we hadn't really hung out with this couple before. And the guy liked to talk about sports, and he didn't listen very well, so he wasn't a listener, right? So what I was left with was having to either, I kind of had to fake liking sports. I'm like, oh yeah, I have no idea who that is. Oh yeah, like there was no connection, right? So the place to start is for you to figure out, what do you like to talk about? I like to talk about marketing. So the people that I try to surround myself with are people who also like that conversation. And if you don't like that conversation, we probably won't hang out much. I also like to talk about spiritual things, right? Spiritual ponderings. What is the meaning of life? How does it all work? I like to talk about marriage and parenting. Those things matter to me. But beyond that, personal development, beyond that, I don't have a whole lot of topics that turn me on. Like, those are sort of the silos. Those are the buckets. And beyond that, I'm not really interested. So it's really hard for me to create content about things I don't care about. So for you, the strategy in terms of you going out and building content that creates influence because it resonates with people is you have to start with what matters to you. And when you start creating content around that, people will find you that also like that conversation. Okay? It's much easier, gang, to build content that works for you than to try to build content that works for them and doesn't work for you, right? There are a lot of people, this sounds so obvious to me as I'm saying it to you, but there are a lot of people who create content based on what they think their clients or their prospects or the public want to hear from them, and they actually have no interest in the topic. And so they constantly feel out of alignment in their marketing because they're creating content from a place that they have no passion for. Okay. So step 1, go find what matters to you, and then think about, how does it help others? Like, how does that help other people? How does what matter to you? For example, like I said, marketing. How does marketing help other people? Like, how does the conversation of marketing help others? Well, I'm clear that for the people I'm trying to serve, like, they're confused in this marketing environment about what to do. So if I could just shed some light for them on marketing, that would be helpful for them. Okay, strategy number 2. What I want you to do is start to peel the onion. Peel the onion. Ogres are like onions. I want you to start to dig deeper in the topic. So for example, if I'm like, okay, marketing, I want to do marketing and I want to create marketing content for people over here that it could really help. You're going to have to go deeper in the nuances of marketing. So for me, I'm clear, like, there are some places I'm going to have to go peel the onion for myself about where I've been stuck, where I'm still stuck, and how to pass on those revelations and insights to you, right? As you start to explore your own uncertainty and then share that with us, what happens is we go, oh, damn, like, you're further down the road, like, you're really being courageous and vulnerable. Like, I want to listen to what you have to say because I've been in this space, or I am in this space, and I want to know what you saw about how to fix it. Right? Okay. Here's strategy number 3. Once you figure out what you want to build content around, and once you figure out who it's for, and once you start peeling the onion for the nuances of the emotional pain, the problem, the hurdles that people are going to face, that you have faced, then I want you to start to share it online. Listen, you could journal your brains out, and until you start to share it, there's no influence that's transferred. You have to share it. Now, you can share it online and you can share it offline. I'm going to suggest that you share it online, and then what you can do with that is offline. Like I'm in a networking group called Master Networks, and we meet every week. And notice that you could start, as you have conversations, you could start to share some of your content with people offline. Like, oh, I just did an episode about that yesterday. Like point of view. My episode yesterday was on your point of view, POV. So if I'm in a conversation this week at my Master Networks chapter, I could actually say like, and it was a conversation around like point of view, I could actually be like, oh, I just did an episode about that. You should check it out. I'll send you the link. Okay, so you can start to share your perspective online and offline. Okay, here's the fourth strategy. I want you to engage with the comments. It is crazy how many people develop the courage to go post on social media, and then they get comments and they ghost the comment, like they ghost the post. There's no interaction with like other people. If other people took the time to engage and comment on your post, not only is it just courtesy, but you're missing the point of relationship if you don't engage. There are two kinds of engagement I've seen lately that one is awesome and one turns me completely off. So like on LinkedIn right now, there's a lot of people who they will send a friend request or whatever you call it on LinkedIn, right? And I'll accept it. And then I get this private message that's like, hey, great to connect with you. If I can be of any help, here's my link about all the things I do. It's like, that's like going to a networking event and somebody's like, hey, nice to meet you. I like your outfit. That's really cool. Here's my business card if you have any business for me. That's an awful way to network. Yet people do this all the time online. It's ridiculous. There's no trust in that. I don't trust. Now I distrust you. Now, there's a different way I've seen it lately, which is pretty awesome. People will friend request. I've seen this on Facebook more than LinkedIn. People will friend request me. I'll accept it. And then they'll private message me and they'll say like, hey, I saw on your personal profile, like this is what you do. That's so awesome. Tell me about that. And then I'm interested because my ears perk up because they want to know about me. I'm like, because everybody's favorite topic is themselves. Like, oh, you want to know about me? Okay, this is what I'm up to. And they're like, that's so cool. And they ask another question without pitching me. I'm like, okay, now we have a dialogue. Do you see? It's dialogue. There's a conversation started without any commission breath. There's no sign of a pitch. And even if I felt like there was a pitch coming, I'm respecting their process because they're giving me space. But they are initiating a conversation. So when you share your content online and somebody comments on your post, circle back and comment on it. Because that creates a dialogue. And inside of that dialogue, you have the potential or the beginnings of a relationship. Okay. All right. Those are the 4 strategies. Now, let me give you the plan. Let me give you some action items here and we'll wrap. Okay. So here's the first thing. There's 4 of them. The first one is I want you to start to post daily. Some of you are not posting daily and you're on Facebook daily and you're not posting daily. Which begs the question, like, what are you doing on Facebook all day? I get it. I'm on Facebook. I'm scrolling. I'm looking for stuff, but I'm also posting daily. It's okay to scroll and look at what other people are saying because that partially keeps you connected to your audience. But if all you do is consume and you don't create, then you're missing your opportunity for influence. At some point, gang, you have to get in the game, yes? Okay, the second action item I want is for you to email 5 people that you think would like the post you created. Now, if your post is small talk, this is accountability for you, right? Like if your post is about what you had for lunch or a picture of your cat, look, I post pictures of my dog every now and then, very seldomly. I think my dog's very cute. But I wouldn't email my friends like, hey, I just posted a picture about my dog. Go check it out. I wouldn't email my friend about that. That's a good litmus test. But if I had said like, hey, I just did a video on point of view in marketing. I would love your take. Like, let me know what you think. Here's the link to it. I would email my friend about that. because I feel like it's helpful and it's a conversation that I want to go deep on with people. So see, this is the power of finding conversations that you want to go deep on and then surrounding yourselves with other people who want to go deep on it. So create that post, then email 5 friends who you think would go deep in conversation on that post with you and send it to them and say, hey, I'd love your feedback on this. Okay? Start getting in the habit of sharing your content. All right, here's the third action item. I want you to ask others what their biggest challenge is inside of the topics that turn you on. Right? So if it's personal development, say, hey, listen, where have you been stuck lately in personal development? If it's fitness and nutrition, where have you been stuck lately in your fitness and nutrition? Okay. And here's the fourth action item. Once you have some responses to that question, I want you to start to create a list of those challenges in a notes app on your phone. Why on your phone? Why not on a sticky note? Why not in a spiral bound journal? Because I want it to always be accessible. And if you do it in a journal and then you archive the journal, you're going to have to go back through and you won't be able to find it. So I just keep all the ideas that pop up in my head for content like this in my notes app on my iPhone. And I just have a running list. And every day I add somewhere between 1 and 3 additional topics. So that list gets longer every day. But I want you to keep a running list. And then that way you never run out of things to say about the topics that really matter to you and how those topics would actually impact and help the people you're trying to serve. So those are your action items, gang. Here's my invitation to you, okay? My invitation, that's a wrap for today. And here's my invitation. One, if you go live or you post a video on Facebook, tag me in it because I'd like to see what you have to say. I'd like to champion you and encourage you in your content. Second invitation, I would like to know in this video what your ahas are, right? Like, again, this could just be like TV for you and you're just watching this and then you stop watching it and you keep scrolling. Fine. But know that there is the opportunity of a relationship here between you and me. If you engage. Do you know, like, people will ask me questions through private message or even in here, and I will give them answers. It's almost like free coaching. Like I'm super generous when it comes here because I love that you're interacting on my content. And so I'm eager to help you in my content. It's like free coaching. So my invitation to you is to share your aha. Share your aha in the comments here from this video, and I will circle back and interact with you. I will create a dialogue with you here, and off we go. Okay, so that's it for tonight, gang. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until then, have a great night, and see you.